If you have a client who's always 5 minutes late, 20 minutes after their appointment's already started, you want to stick around. Today, we are breaking down a real Reddit text exchange where an esthetician finally says no more. She's putting her foot down. If you're new here, welcome to Beauty Babble, where we talk shop about the real stuff behind running a beauty business. I'm Doreen, a brand and content strategist and former esthetician.
Hi, and I'm Suzanne. I'm a Sedesco certified esthetician with over 30 years, former spa owner, and now an educator mentor to beauty pros.
All right. We found this Reddit thread that was just an experience I think everyone can relate to. So here is what this esthetician posted. Hi, I'm a solo esthetician. I've had a client for roughly 8 months now, and she is super difficult to deal with. Always late, changing her appointments, or coming in for a lash fill with two lashes. Today, I had a super stressful day, and of course, she's my last client and tells me she's running 22 minutes late. I had to put my foot down today, which was extremely hard for me to do, as this is the first time I've had to do something like this, and I have so much anxiety about it. Does this ever get easier? I guess I just want advice or validation that what I did was okay because it feels awful to do. But again, I can't keep having her walk over me. And of course, I don't want to lose clients, but she causes me so much stress almost every single appointment. I can't stand the guilt tripping. All right. Oh
Classic.
my
Oh my
God.
God.
I'm stressed for her. All
Right?
right.
It is, and she's right. It is uncomfortable. It's terrible that you even have to do it, you know?
For our listeners who aren't watching on YouTube, I am sharing the a text message thread because she did post screenshots of the text messages between her and her client. So I'll read them and then we'll talk about it. All right, so her client starts off. It's 4:47 p.m. The appointment is at 5. I'm just leaving work right now. I might be a couple minutes late. I'm sorry, I'm rushing. And she says, "Okay, do you know what time you'd be here by?" GPS says 5:22.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but we're going to need to reschedule this time. I have an appointment right after that I'd be late for, and my policy is if you are 15 minutes late or more, I have to reschedule you and collect a fee. I'm sorry, I know I made an exception for you last time, but unfortunately, I can't again. I have availability 16, 21, 22, 24, and 26. Just let me know what day works for you. So I think she handled that really well. Like her response
yeah.
message was really polite,
Mhm.
concise. She gave alternate dates,
Options? Yeah.
options. I thought that was amazing. Then the client goes on to say, "Oh, I thought it was 5:15." Okay, but girl, you're still going to be late. And she didn't say that. I'm saying that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And then the client says, "Already almost there. My text notification at 5:15 with you today. So I would have only been 6 or 7 minutes late. I have the text confirmation."
Dear. Let's see now.
All right. And now she says, "I'm
Date and
literally
time.
almost to you." She sends this screenshot
Date and
that
time
says
says 5 o'clock.
the date and time of 5 o'clock. So her appointment was indeed at 5 o'clock. So now it's 5:08 and she's continuing to text the esthetician. "We can skip eyebrow tint? Question mark. That would save time off the end of the visit. My lashes are desperate and I'm almost there. Just got your text about rescheduling because I'm driving." What is your take on what's happening so far with the client? Like she's very first of all, she says her appointment's at 5:15, which it wasn't. We have a
Yeah.
screenshot that says it's 5. And she's at this point she's like bargaining, right?
Yeah, I don't blame her. I get why they want to bargain, but I'm glad to see that this lash tech or esthetician is sticking to her guns this time. It sounds like she's from the text messaging. She sounds like a person who has been very pushy
Mhm.
because as we've seen the text and as you carry on, people will see that. I just feel for her, the professional, because this is almost a 3 hour appointment that she's losing out on, even if it's a fee, which
Yeah.
is terrible.
Yeah.
And I know she's desperate, but this isn't her first, she's a repeat offender, as they
Yeah.
say.
It's not her first time. All right, so the
And
esthetician says, "I'm sorry, Tara, but you'll be 22 minutes late, and I don't have the time today. You're still over 10 minutes away. I can definitely take you another day this week or next week. I know it's inconvenient because you're headed to me, but I already made an exception last time. Let me know if you're available next week at all. So, again, super great text that she's composed,
Yeah.
apologizing, acknowledging it's inconvenient, and offering
Hmm.
an alternative.
And she apologized, even though she wished she could do it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
And this got to be so hard though. Like you say no once and you're like, I hope they listen. No, now you have to say no repeatedly.
the whole
All right.
thing.
Client is not done. Weren't you planning on being there the 1.5 hour duration of me getting lashes done anyways? If we only did lashes, that shaves 20-30 minutes off right there. So you would still only be in your office for about the same amount of time. I'm about 6 or 7 minutes away, according to my GPS. I get what you're saying, but you were planning on being there for the duration of lashes. If we take the eyebrow tint off, then that saves more time. I don't know. I didn't know that I was going to be running late from work today. We had two people call out. I was stuck in a room with a patient towards the end of the shift and wasn't able to text or call you. I had to finish with them first. And she says, I just want to know if it's worth me still coming or not, since I'm already so close to you. Just doesn't make sense to cancel if you were planning on being there anyway for the next at least hour or so. Yeah, I don't have any other time this week. I'm working on the week long. This was the my only opportunity. I had a shit week and I cried most of my lashes out because my due date was my birthday yesterday. This is my only opportunity. All right, now we're guilt tripping. That's what the esthetician meant when she was talking about being guilt tripped.
Hmm.
Again, the esthetician response says, "Unfortunately, this time I can't accommodate. I'm really sorry." Client says, okay, I would have been there in 5 minutes. I'm so confused because you still would have been there till at least 6:30 anyways. It's fine. I'll figure it out. Definitely won't be there this week. This was my only opportunity. Thanks anyways. Taking the eyebrow tint off would have made up the difference. She's incessant. Oh my gosh. My text confirmation at 5:15, but that's okay. The esthetician responds and says, on my end, your appointment was scheduled for 5 p.m. Whether there was a miscommunication or not, this this isn't the first time you've arrived late, and I've already made accommodations in the past. I understand you're upset, but I have to follow my policies. You were over 20 minutes late, and even if we skipped the brow wax, there wouldn't have been enough time because it sounds like you would have needed a full set, not a fill, which requires more time than what was left. It's hard for me to have to readjust my schedule. If you'd like to reschedule, you can feel free to see what I have available to book online. And if that,
Ending the conversation. She's trying to end this conversation,
yeah,
right?
but it's not over. The client says, I think we have both adjusted in the past, and I have also tried to be flexible for you. I would have even taken a lighter fill to hold me over. I had no idea I was going to be late. I haven't eaten food all day. We had no nurses. It's fine. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
The esthetician says, yes, I have asked you to move your appointment in the past, but that was days in advance. And I also offered a discount for the inconvenience, which is different. I hope you understand.
Is that the end?
That was it. That was it. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Whew.
Wow.
I think the back and forth, like some of the comments on this Reddit post had said, commended her on how well she handled this
Yeah, I think she
situation.
did.
I
She
think
handled
she
it
handled
well.
it beautifully. And a lot of people said, that was
Good
too
for
much back
you.
and forth,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
All that texting, I was like, oh, this is why when, working with people, I said, how do you deal with your clients? Are you communicating through DM, text messaging? Probably 90% is yes. And I'm just like, I wouldn't be giving them that of me per
Yeah.
se.
I have to make a confession. I would have caved.
Oh,
I
you would have?
would have caved.
Well, you know what? In fairness, I think, what they could have been like, okay, you're almost here. I can't promise, but let me see what you have. She's almost there. It
Yeah.
sounds like she's a good client, right? From what she said at the beginning, doesn't really want to lose her, but at the same time, you got to nip this in the butt.
Yeah.
I've been always really direct all my
Mm,
life. I think just who I am. If they did it the one time, I'm very straightforward and say, listen, I want you to understand. that I can do it this time. If it ever happens in the future, I can't guarantee it. I'm sorry. Just please don't be upset with me. Promise me.
Yeah.
Those are the people you need to, you know, say it, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So when this conversation comes up, again, they're usually a repeat offender. Those that are
Yeah.
always late are
And it
always
sounds
late.
like this one was.
Yeah.
I think okay, so I think that I can play this scenario out in my head. I think I would have said, "Okay, fine." And then when because it was the last client of the day and I would have just shortened the appointment or
She
done
wasn't the last client. She
she
had someone after. That's why she couldn't do it.
no, in
Oh,
her
no?
comment, she said it was her last appointment of the day. Having
Oh,
said
poor
that, I mean,
stuff.
it still
I would
doesn't
never
matter.
tell
Like
my
this is
client.
your end of your day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
I missed
so
that part.
this is just me talking from personal, and I probably
Yeah.
would have handled it terribly. So I would have probably been like, yeah, sure, just come. We'll take off the brow tint. We'll do a lighter fill or whatever. But the problem is, if I was to do that, I think I run the risk of she's not going to be happy with her lashes. She's going to
Exactly.
complain that it was too light and couldn't you have put a few more? B, she's going to do it even more. I've totally blown my boundaries and my lines. And I would have just hated myself. You would have just been like so
Yeah.
upset with yourself for compromising yet again. So I think
Exactly.
agreeing I mean, this is worst case scenario. Maybe she would have been grateful and she would have loved her lashes. But I think just given the history with this client and the
Mhm.
esthetician saying like it's a difficult client, she's always late. Like I just think she needed to do this in order to prevent it from continuing to happen.
Yeah. Exactly. And I get it. I mean, this, like you said, this comes up all the time. People have mentioned this to me. How do you deal with this? And I think you nailed it saying, is she really going to be happy with a light fill? And probably not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
But
don't think so.
I think too, you have to honor yourself, which is most important because she's probably was thrown off the rest of her night, upset about it. What about she books? I'm gonna have to see her again. Like this whole almost anxiety comes up inside you, having to deal with it. And it's just, yeah, gotta set the boundaries. And I applaud her for sticking to her guns and saying no. And you know what? If you do this, if I can give any advice to people out there, your first time client should know those boundaries. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you have to be rude about this. I'm not saying you have to be, that unfriendly professional. Just letting them know to communicate, start, welcome. I'm so glad you came. Did you have a chance to read my policies? Just say it again. Because they don't read. You can
Mhm.
try. People don't read in general. It doesn't matter if it's the doctor's office telling you they're going to give you a fee if you don't cancel, right? And then people are
Yeah.
shocked. What do you mean? It's written everywhere.
Yeah.
People
But I
just
think
don't
I
read.
think before that, you need to have a policy. Like you need to
First,
have
have
a
a policy.
policy and you need to
Yeah,
have it in writing. And I know
yeah.
that not every esthetician has a website where they can have like this policy, but I think even if you are communicating with your client and booking your appointments in text message, I would have a little blurb saved to my notes app and then at the end of every message, I'd say, "Okay, you're confirmed. Your appointment is this day at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m." And then right behind, just say, "Please note my cancellation policy." Da 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 da.
Well, she had an online booking, so it
She
gave her
did.
confirmation.
Yeah,
So in the confirmation, you can change those notes and put that right in there.
yeah, she did. But I'm saying
And just
for our listeners or viewers who don't, like
yes,
even
yeah.
if you
Hmm.
don't have a place where you can officially put a policy, you need to
Hmm.
include it with every booking. It's part of like, thanks for booking, note my cancellation policy. If you have a system where you're sending reminders and you have the online booking, perfect. It should be included in every time you communicate with your client,
Hmm.
which sounds like
Yeah.
overkill, but I would do it.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And then once it's been communicated and consistently done,
Hmm.
if you make an exception for someone else, and I get things happen and I know it's really hard, like she had a terrible day at work all week. I get that. And we're in this industry because we're empathetic to people. We service them. That's what this is. But at the same time, it's not professional
Hmm.
and not fair to you either. And I think if we just stick to that, our policies, make them clear and do it and stick with it. And it's hard because The other end of that is I get to hear the professional say to me, but I need the money.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
Yeah.
well, I guarantee you, you will attract the clients
Yeah.
that respect you if you demand the respect.
Yeah.
Takes
I
time.
agree.
It takes time, but you will have it because then they just, I don't know, they just don't respect. And it's kind of a behind the screen thing that people do, whether it's, a text, an email, a social media comment, like people just say
Mm-hmm.
things, right? And yeah, it's, you deserve to work in your environment where people respect you for you as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And I
think that's
think
important.
you can also offer a first time grace, for example. Like the first time their appointment, you say, you know what, this time,
Yeah.
if
Hmm.
you're late, I'm going to make an exception, but please note, I do have a cancellation policy. I know this doesn't happen often, or this is the first time for you, whatever. Maybe they have a sick kid or they had a flat
Yeah.
tire, whatever. You
Yeah.
can make
Yeah.
that first exception if that is like, I mean, I know some professionals who are like, nope, I'm firm and they're comfortable in that. But if you're not comfortable in setting those
Hmm.
boundaries, I would
Hmm.
do a first time exception, but a reminder that this is the first and only time. And then that way
Yeah.
you feel like you've done your part and you haven't been unkind or disagreeable. And it's on them. Second time, it's on them. They need to
Yeah.
cancel or pay a fee.
But even if you don't have anyone after and you're managing it, you can squeeze them in. I don't tell them, oh, that's no problem because I have no one after you today. I don't tell them that.
Yeah.
You need to still say, okay, I can do it this time, but I can't do it next time. That's it. That's my policy. If you want to be that strict. For those that are, have a really hard time with this and then, you're feeling flustered and all that, upset, then maybe you say to them, well, I can do it this time, but next time I don't know if I could. And it's not that I want to say no to you, but I have someone after
Hmm.
and I want to run on time. Why I have
Yeah.
appointments.
You say I
I
can't
do my
keep
best to run
my
it.
next client waiting. And I think what
That's right.
you're doing is really important, which is using I language, which is like I need to be ready for my next client. I don't have time. So instead of being like, no, you were late, say no, I don't have time, given,
Hmm. Yeah.
so, and then this esthetician also did this, which is offered solution, she offered an alternate date. You
Hmm.
can you can offer, I think lash fills are tricky because there's so much like gray area where it's like, well, how much of a fill am I doing? But let's say somebody came in for a full leg wax and a bikini wax. But maybe you can only do the bikini wax. So maybe you make that exception. So you can say, listen, I get things come up. I have a client right after you. I can still do your bikini wax.
I was
You can
gonna
have
say,
hairy
okay, I can do
legs.
one leg. I can do one leg and one bikini size.
Yeah, I can do your bikini wax only, or you can book, next week for everything and be on time.
The other thing I want to make a note on this, which I've noticed happens a lot in our industry today, is that the professional, the service provider, is running late, always runs late, shows up late. So if you don't want your clients doing it, you can't be doing it too, because it's a
Absolutely.
reflection on you. And this is something, it's a hard, honest conversation that I have to have with professionals sometimes. They, well, you're not setting the bar either.
Yeah.
You're not
Well,
respecting them and their time. They're definitely not going to respect yours. Not saying that this person did that. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just
no,
on
no, I
another
know.
side of that, look in the mirror, what's going on? How do you run your business, right?
The
Exactly.
last suggestion I would make is just to make sure that you document everything, make notes so that, if somebody is being like, well, I haven't done this before, I'm like, you can pull it up and be like, yeah, actually you have, and this is, or whatever. If you do have a system where you can document it within a booking system or put it in your notes app, and
Hmm.
that way you have something to refer to.
Yeah. Set your
Cool.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Policies, policies in place will be
Let,
your lifesaver.
let us know in the comments if this has happened to you, how you've handled it, maybe sharing some of your policies. It's always interesting to see what others are doing so we can learn from each other. Awesome. I think that's it for this episode. But if you enjoyed listening, subscribe, and we'll be back with another one soon.